Thank you, Cassandra. Do you often have problems speaking in public, from nerves to just not knowing the right thing to say? Well, you are not alone. Fear of public speaking is known as glossophobia, and 74% of people suffer from speech anxiety. And joining us now is Sean Smith, reigning champion of North America's Next Greatest Speaker competition, to help us with public speaking. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so what I've heard is public speaking is the #1 biggest fear, right?
Yes.
Above death, right?
Yeah, so they say that most people would rather be doing the eulogy, or would rather be in the casket than doing the eulogy at a funeral, right?
That's crazy. Okay, so there are 3 mistakes that people make. Let's talk about
3 huge ones. And fears are all created by us. Nobody's born with the fear of public speaking. So we all create it by doing these 3 biggest mistakes.
Okay.
And the first one I call the Judge Judy jail. This is probably the biggest one, where people are so concerned about being judged by the audience. What are they going to think about me or whatever? And it's like, if you imagine everybody in your audience is Judge Judy, and she's got the little scowl and got the gavel and just waiting for you to mess up so she can crack that gavel and go, "You're not funny, you should stop speaking." You know? It'll make us all go crazy because we're so scared of not being liked.
Yes.
But speaking is not about seeking approval from others. It's really about just sharing your message. So that's the biggest one that I think most people do.
All right, what's #2?
The second one I call the Dumb and Dumber disaster.
Okay.
And that's when you don't have a whole lot of certainty about what it is that you're speaking about, but you try to be all intellectual and impress people with the big 25-cent words, and you get all cerebral. But secretly, Brittany, you're scared that somebody's going to ask you a question you can't answer. And so you're going to feel dumb because you're afraid of looking dumb. And when they know that you feel dumb, then it just creates this cycle, and it goes south from there all the time.
Don't want that. All right.
Don't want that.
#3.
The third one I call the Weekend at Bernie's blunder. If you remember the Weekend at Bernie's, right?
Bernie,
The guys carry the dead guy around pretending he's alive. A lot of speakers show up with no animation in their body. They're just so stiff and robotic, right?
Okay.
It's like a dead person with sounds coming out of their face.
Okay.
And #1, it's creepy. But #2, #2, it's not engaging. Nobody wants to just watch something that's not moving. So you got to be animated. When I competed for this North America's Next Greatest Speaker contest, I told this story about, if you're really committed to going for your goals, you got to be willing to go up any mountain.
Okay.
And when you run up a mountain, you're going to break your ankles. But when you break your ankles, you can't quit. You got to be willing to army crawl. So I got down on the floor and I was army crawling. And when you army crawl long enough,
how can you not win with an army crawl?
Exactly. When you army crawl long enough, your shoulders are going to break, but you can't quit. You got to bite your way at the top. And I was laying on my stomach. And I was, And when you bite your way long enough, your teeth are going to fall out, but you can't quit. You got to gum your way to the top. And I was all over the stage, and it was silly, but I was having fun.
Yeah.
And one of the secrets about getting rid of your fears, which are all in your head, is to be in your body. So the more animated you are, the more in your body you are, the more engaging it is. It's just a good experience for everybody.
That's great. That's great. Thank you so much. I mean, these are really fantastic. So the right way, you do have a formula, right?
Yeah, very simple speak formula.
Okay, let's talk about it.
The S is stories. Stories are easier to remember and tell, and they're more memorable for the audience.
Okay.
The P, presence. Be present, energetically connect with your crowd. E is energy, like I just talked about. You don't have to be over the top like you're in a speaking competition, but be animated.
Okay.
A is my favorite, authenticity. Don't try to be like anybody else, just be yourself. And then K, knowledge. Know what you're talking about. Have some certainty. That's really going to engage the crowd.
Great. Thank you so much, Sean. Really, really, really helpful. Now, if you want a recap of this, if you want to become the next public speaker like Sean here, just go to casa.com and click on the Style tab. Cassandra?